hello, welcome. It's busy here, then I turned up and everyone leaves. Well, we're looking a bit rock and roll today, aren't we? I tell you what, everything looks all really lovely and pink. No, it does, it really does. Well, welcome. This is probably going to be a bit of a rock and roll walk. I can draw your attention to the house in the background. Obviously, the channel isn't called A Coincidental Life for nothing. So even just stuff in the background relates to things, even if I may not talk about them. But yeah, this is the first time I've been out since, well, in 9 weeks. It's nearly the end of March and it's taken me that long because of the weather, work, and even today it started off raining. I had to just go, right, I'm gonna do it, you know. But as you can see, we're heading up there for a bit. This is like an avenue of stuff. Just an avenue of trees, isn't it? Obviously a manor, a grand manor. I did hear that someone used to land planes on here. Nice and bumpy for a light aircraft, isn't it? So I figured what we'll do, because this is the footpath along this side, not along that side, those that way. Anyway, that house, I used to go to that house a lot. Parties and gatherings, just hanging out. And also I helped my friend Rob, who might be watching, so hi Rob, build his studio, which I think is still there behind the yurt. I don't like to look too closely. So instead of a caravan in the garden, there's now a yurt. And the studio looks like it's still there, as is the tree house. Yeah, it is. The studio's still there, so that's good. And a few albums were recorded on there, and some demos and singles and things. And I went to a party there as the night after I was asked to leave my dream house. So that was a bit of a strange one. But anyway, had a good time. And it led me on to what I thought I could talk about, which is my dream dinner party. Well, when I say my dream dinner party, I mean my dream dinner party guests. I hadn't looked into the food that we're going to be having. So it's taken me a while to get. I thought 12 people, that's the Last Supper, isn't it? Excuse me. So yeah, 12 people is what I thought would be an ideal amount. So it's as I said, it's taken me a long time. Some people I know instantly, so I've kind of gone 6 women and 6 men. Actually, and I'll be the mix of both because I'm the 13th. So how's that? It's also true. Oh, poor dead tree. Don't know what these trees are. They're not instantly jumping out as a thing I know from. So obviously they're probably not related. So let's start with the first one. Well, people often say things like, you know, have you got any heroes? And I always used to say no, I haven't. But there are two people who I came across when I was probably about 9 or 10, maybe even younger actually. Due to PG Tips cards, there's a British Empire thing, and I remember reading about two people, and they just blew my mind then. And the first one, and my first guest, top of the list, always my first guest, is Emmeline Pankhurst. Now, as a child, I didn't really know much about the details at all, really. Didn't know what any of it meant. I just felt that this woman had done something incredible. And yeah, the more info I've come across, the more I've gone, wow, yeah, she really did, didn't she? So she'd be my first guest. And also, at the time, it's very difficult for a woman to go and campaign like that. So, I mean, fortunately, her husband was rich, and he said, yeah, go off and do it. So he fully backed her, which is fantastic. And some of the things she went through, being force-fed, you know, resulting to direct action. One of the first proper modern heroines of direct action, I would say. But, you know, I could be wrong, couldn't I? So she's my first guest. Now the second one, I'm going to go female, male, female, male. The second one is someone who, I'll mention his name, and some of you will go, oh right, and others will go, who? And there are all kinds of people that will go, oh right. And some people who know some of the things he's done may not know he's done some of the things he's done. So they may not go, oh. And that is R.J. Stewart. Now, R.J. Stewart is involved in sort of Celtic spirituality, earth mysteries, that sort of thing. And that's where I first came across him, because I bought his tarot. I liked his writings. I generally got a good feeling about him. And then, so I got a few books. I got his tarot, his Merlin tarot. So I liked it even more because it was connected to here, you know. Anyway, and then one day, well, probably the first time, I watched a certain fantasy program that I love, Xena Warrior Princess. In the opening things, consultant R.J. Stewart, and I was, oh fucking hell, R.J. Stewart, oh right. And people I was watching it with are going, well, who's that? Who? How do you know him? What? So that, you know, that gives Xena a little bit more basis in the myth and folklore and reality than other things, to me. And he's done a few other things. He's also coincidentally and connected to music. And where I was a few days ago, I was in Bath by the Royal Crescent, which has got Crescent Studios, and he was involved in an album by now here we go, rock and roll name blank, Irish, Astral Weeks, Van Morrison. There we go, got there in the end. which, funnily enough, I saw one of his actual vans by the Royal Crescent. Yeah, it had Morrison on the side. Anyway, sorry. And I came across a tape. Cuchulainn, Irish Celtic tale of Cuchulainn, and R.J. Stewart had done some of the music on it with Van Morrison, and it was recorded at the Crescent Studios in Bath. And the other thing he's done is he designed what he calls a concert psaltery, a kind of pre-zither, but it's like an 80-stringed zither. It might even be 81, where it's not done in a chromatic scale, it's done in triads, chord triads. So it's not easy to play, but probably is if you know how to play it. So I like that. He's invented music, so he's got a number of talents and skills to his bow, and I find that fascinating and very interesting. Amazing, it's a long line. I can still see the gates up there, look. Hello, crows. And now, another lady. And the second I go to is Amelia Bloomer. Now, related to Emmeline Pankhurst, and similarly, she was along in one of these PG Tips cards, and I liked the idea, you know, that she wore bloomers, what are now called bloomers, so that she could ride a bike. She was saying, well, men, I'm going to ride a bike. Bollocks to you. And I like that, because what reason is there? Anyway, this isn't a video about misogyny, but I'm going to have to do it, aren't I? Because it really badly affects us all. Yeah, because she defied what was the accepted way of being, I recognise that, because I myself have defied the accepted way of being. Ah, Cherry. Now, see, I'm at full stretch with my arms. There you go. Pink, everything's pink, and the cherry, the colour of the plant of love, the tree of love. Now we're approaching the gate. And here's some more flowers. Ah, looks like some kind of acer then. I don't know if you can see those, sort of yellowy. I'll try and bring these down nearer. Oh, yeah, like I said, full stretch. Oh. Now I can't actually focus on them, because I can't even do it. I can't even do it with my nose. Now the other thing about Amelia Bloomer is that, although it's not about Amelia Bloomer, it's about my mother. Right, and there's a path going off that way. There you go, you can see all the hills in the distance. Wow. I probably know those hills quite well. Except I can't recognise them from here, a different angle. And there's some anemones in there. Don't know if that's focusing. I can't get the angle, but you can see they're there. The thing about my mother was that she used to wear trousers that she'd made. She used to make her own clothes because they were poor, so she would make her own clothes, and she used to get a lot of stick for it, you know, a lot of abuse and horrible looks, and you know, shunned and all kinds of things. And this was back in the 1950s. Yeah. And so she was the first woman in Leicestershire to regularly wear trousers. So there's something about my mum that I'm proud of, that she went and did that. Now, according to my map, the footpath should be on the other side of this field, but they've directed everybody off. This is probably quite recent. They probably didn't used to have this. But, okay, so my second, I have to watch my footing. So the second of my male guests would be Keith Richards, brother of Cliff. Obviously, admittedly, he's had some ups and downs, but I've actually found him quite inspiring. There was one interview I remember seeing him before the drugs addled him, and the interview was saying, well, when are you going to cut your hair? And he went, when it falls out. And I don't think that's happened, has it? But he was always quite intelligent at his in his interviews, and like I said, till the drugs addled him. But even now, I find, you know, because I'm struggling with losing my hair, I find him quite inspiring as well, in that way. Also, he makes me laugh, so that's, you know, I'd find him entertaining, could chat to him. He was brought up in a family of women, so he's, like a friend of mine says, you know, if you're a bloke with sisters, or if you grew up, you know, if you're male and you had sisters, you are a different kind of person to men who didn't have sisters. And I think that's true. So he grew up in a family of women, and I know some things about him that show he is very kind and thoughtful and caring. You know, and again, there's a cross-dressing theme here, isn't there? Because he didn't really care about borrowing his girlfriend's clothes or anything. So, second male guest is Keith. So, third female guest. Well, this one is, I had no idea of this person's existence till about 20 years ago, when my partner at the time came back with another friend, came back from an art studio where she was working, and really excited, both of them were, and they opened this book up and they said, look at this, what do you think of her? Well, look at this. And I looked and I saw this woman, and in my head said, oh, that's me, right? And they said, yes, that's what we thought. Right? And it turned out to be Frida Kahlo. So let's have a look behind here. This is private woods apparently, although I see no woods here. Are there? What, that over there? Yeah, all private. Yeah, you can't go in here. Oh no, don't want you in here. Oh. Yeah, take note, people. So Frida would be my second, and I love her paintings as well. So better get halfway, hadn't we? So my third male guest is going to be, oh, heron. It's going to be Nikola Tesla, who not only is his stuff to do with free energy and thing interesting, but also some of the rest of his interests which would fit with a lot of mine, and certainly a few of the other people who've come to the dinner party. And I'm sure he'd had lots to chat about, because he wasn't just interested in physics, you know, he had interest in like spirituality, which combine the two, perfect, isn't it? So there you go, halfway through. Now, and as you can tell, it's a bit cosmopolitan as well. All sorts of nationalities. So for one of the things I wanted to mention was, or is it geese? I don't know where it'll be. One of the things I wanted to mention was, and what gave me a bit of the idea, and for any, well, for probably a lot of the women watching, and certainly the feminists, have you ever come across an artist called Judy Chicago? Well, she did an exhibition called The Dinner Party. Check it out. Really, check it out. It is fantastic. I thought so. Judy Chicago, The Dinner Party. And I'll leave that there. It was ducks. I turned the camera and gimbal off and they flew from over there, two of them. I thought it was herons. I thought, oh, mating herons. But they flew, and by the time I got the camera, got the gimbals working, they'd gone. So sorry, but we have this tree. Look at this. Fingertips in the ground, look. This is a crossing point for animals. Whoa, hello. Well, thank you. They're still going for it, aren't they? Oh, there they are. Is it geese? It's geese, isn't it? Not my favourite of creatures. Yeah, sorry. There they are. All still now. Now, some of the people that I'm inviting are probably quite considered controversial. But not to me. So, my fourth female guest is someone who I admire because of the amount of stuff, you know, they haven't shut up, they haven't gone away, and possibly have done some things to change the world a little bit, and that is Germaine Greer. Now I know there's been some incidents with her that I don't think people really understood what she meant. But anyway, nothing better than getting their side of the story, eh? But she, you know, I used to, now here's a, if I could admit this, I used to get her mixed up with Virginia Woolf. Yes, I did. I thought Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf was written by Germaine Greer, or was about Germaine Greer. There's a stone over there, but it's not. There's some nice old oak trees along here. There's another one on the side, and you have to be a bit careful because it's starting to rain. Damn. I may have to hide in a copse for a bit. And you know, she's really into nature and stuff. She's into just going off without thinking about it, just going off. I like that. She also once wrote a 10,000 word love letter, which, you know, is quite interesting. There's a thrush here. Can you hear it? Now if I stop and show you there in the top of the tree there, that's a thrush. I'm not going to try and do too much because if I stop talking it'll think I'm about to do something. So I'm just talking rubbish. I have no idea what I've just said because I'm just trying to, oh, it's gone now. Okay. Yeah, so I, you know, and I think you have to, it's quite hard to understand, for some people, it's quite hard to understand what she's talking about with feminism, because it is, you know. So there's been an altercation with the trans community, but I do think there's a misunderstanding there, because when you get someone of high intelligence, people of lower intelligence can only understand what it is that they know to relate to. Anyway, she's got a sense of humour. The one thing I liked about her when I heard this was that she sleeps naked. So I like that because I do. Not, you know, not for any pervy reasons, thanks. But, you know, I've always liked to have my partner sleeping naked as well. Why should I be the only one? So, yeah, so she'd be coming, and it's quite fitting that we're approaching a manor, or an old manor, old Priory, There are some remains up here in a spring, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere near them, sadly. Now, my fourth male guest is a man who probably no one knows who the hell they are, and that is David Brudenell-Bruce. Do you know who he is? Well, again, I've got a bit of a connection to him. Well, he used to be, he may still be, but the Earl of Cardigan. Now, if you're familiar with the Battle of the Beanfield, he was a witness, and well, he did the only thing that any right human being could have done. Now, this is another, I'm going to do another video on this because this is a longer story, and it does tie in with something. My hair has stood on end now. It does tie in with something that I've found out in recent days. Ooh, well, hello. Wow, look at this. Look at that. I don't even know if I can. Nope, can't get it. So it'll have to be there. Look at that. That's it's flowers, mate. Flowers. Is that better? Interesting, aren't they? I need someone to tap on the screen. I just can't can't tap on the screen to do it. So no. Let me try. Let me try again. Hello, woodpecker. No, sorry. Couldn't do it. Well, let's try this way. Yeah, I just saw a wren near the near that hollow oak. But yes, Mr. Bruce and the woodpecker. I mean, it's quite full of them today. Just had a chat with a nice old man. White dead nettle. Edible. It's out. A lot of things are out a bit too early at the moment. So I'm not quite sure how I turn. Now, there are some remains here. Now, at the corner of the field, just where that, I don't know if you can see where the gate is. Maybe we can see it. Let's see if I can zoom in as soon as we're here. It's taken that long to walk this bit. So where is it? Okay, there you go. Right in the centre of the shot, where that joins the wall, just the other side, there should be a spring. And we're also looking at, in there, the remains of a priory. Yeah, I just had a chat with a nice old man. Tried to get him to identify the trees there, but he didn't know. But I thought, ooh, wow, hope I look like him when I'm that old. Talking of inspiration for getting old, Keith Richards. Well, you know, you want to look a bit craggy and interesting, don't you? If you look too perfect, you look weird. But yes, Mr. Bruce, well, basically what he did, he was there at the Beanfield. They stayed in Savernake Forest because that's where what he looked after. And I know Savernake Forest. No, I've known it for over 50 years. because it was probably, well, it was one of the first woods we used to go to a lot. So anyway, so the travellers were all staying there, and he said, oh, do you mind if I tag along? So he tagged along, and he was a witness to the massacre. Anyway, like I said, and he went, oh my God, right, well, you better all come back to mine. Stay on my land, I'll ban the police from access, and you'll be safe there. So he did. And then subsequently, basically they have systematically, the state, yeah, because this man was his father led the charge of the light brigade in Crimea. Not that that's a good thing, but that's, part of the history and the kind of position in, position in society, shall we say. And basically the state has systematically destroyed him. Anyway, like I said, I'll do a full video on that, because he used to go to the Conservative Club a stone's throw from the house I grew up in. So, and after what he did, and he didn't back down, even in Parliament, he didn't back down, and so they destroyed him. So, well, he's welcome in my house at any time. That's how much I respect what he did. Even though we're on different sides of the social divide, maybe not anymore, but yeah, so it would be him. And like I said, I'll do a full video, and that will be when I get round to doing it, and that links into some other things as well. So there you go. So there you go, there's the fourth. Now my fifth lady is the most underrated guitarist to ever exist, and there'll be some of you who will know exactly who that is, and I know there's people that can't stand her, but I can't hear any of her songs without having tears in my eyes, and that's Joni Mitchell. Again, someone quite deep, someone who's gone through a lot of interesting things, trauma, well, I mean, what can you say, really? I'd have her as a guest, that would be great. I always thought she was an Aquarian for some reason. I got no idea why I thought that. And then I found out she was a Scorpio. I was like, oh, right, oh, now it makes more sense. But yeah, I can't hear any of her songs without having tears in my eyes, really. And not even the ones you'd expect. That note change on Woodstock, oh, that makes me cry. And I think she'd be very interesting to talk to, because she's quite deep. She also paints stuff, and I think highly intelligent people just, we're quite happy to be on our own for long periods, and I get the impression she's got a house in Canada, hasn't she? That just looks out onto the snow. That sounds quite remote to me. So, my fifth male guest, take a look back. My fifth male guest is Nostradamus, because I want to know the truth. And also I could get to speak a bit of French, like my great grandmother and my grandfather, who was a French interpreter, during the war. I've probably mentioned that before, but not in this video, mate. Yeah, that's so that would be interesting. And also, according to a birth chart I saw, Nostradamus shares similarities with me. In fact, if you were to mix Jimi Hendrix and Nostradamus, you'd sort of get my birth chart. Yeah. Now that's weird, isn't it? Well, it was when I realised that. So yes, I'd have Nostradamus, because he had other talents. It wasn't just prediction and scrying. He knew how to make potions and stuff, so we'll have things we could discuss, because I make a potion that works for some people, works really well for some people, including myself. Didn't work with some others, so I'm not quite sure why that would be the case. But now coming to a road bit, and I don't normally film roads and houses, do I? But that looks like a house with nice windows. It is rather nice, isn't it? And there's the manor, so it's quite appropriate. Not that I'd want a dream dinner party in a manor, actually. Maybe in a fairy hall. Now there, that would be something, wouldn't it? Eh? It really would. Can you hear the water? That's obviously the water of the spring. Can't see anything, this is just rubble, isn't it? But there's a lovely cherry appearing. So yes, I'm sure he'd be very interesting to talk to. He might have to bring an interpreter, but I would have thought with the amount of time he's had for other lives that he'd have more to talk about, and would have learned how to communicate by now. You would think, wouldn't you? Old farm equipment. I know I'm not the only one who loves things like this. There we go. Now let's take a look down there then. Before we won't be going that way. You can see the man and his dog. There's a black dog in the middle of there. That's the man I spoke to. And here, quite obviously, is the spring. Not tampered around with in any way, is it? As you can see, I love those ferns. Don't know what they're called, but obviously it used to come out here, or maybe it does sometimes. And there's a bit of a font there. Well, so my final guest, my final female guest, is someone that I hadn't expected. And I only came across her by accident last night, no, 2 nights ago, where I was just drifting off to sleep and I heard this interview, or a bit of an interview with someone. And I thought, God, that's a good answer. And then again, there's another question. Oh, that's another good answer. Oh, this woman sounds really interesting. Wonder who it is. And it was my 6th female guest, Ursula Le Guin. Now the remains of the Priory are amongst those trees there. So they're nice and easy to see, aren't they? No one's allowed to see them, eh? So I mean, we don't know. Well, obviously this was their water supply, but we don't know for sure that that's definitely a priory, or even if it was something before then, which is highly likely, isn't it? So I'm going to I might continue with my final male guest after this, and it's very interesting that I'm having to do this because I'm struggling with my final male guest. There are too many to choose from. Now I've actually had to get on my knees to get this. Well, you see those hills in the distance there? That's where I grew up. They're quite yin-yang, those hills. And then you can see the caterpillar to the left of them, or can you? Can you see it now? Caterpillar to the left on the top of the hills. That's Morgan's Hill again. And behind that is Avebury. So you get a good old look a good old look at it from all around on in my videos. Well, my final male guest is going to be the virtuoso guitarist, metal guitarist, Michael Schenker. I told you this was going to be a cosmopolitan dinner party, didn't I? Yeah, because Capricorns get better as they get older. That's the thing, and I think he's very interesting. I've listened to some interviews with him, and he comes out. Well, he's obviously learnt the stuff, and I can relate to some of the stuff he says. Getting in the zone, feeling it, being there, being tuned to it, being at one. It's all crucial, isn't it? And needs to be done if you're going to ever achieve anything. So there you are. That's my dream dinner party. Maybe it will change over the years, who knows? I might do another one if I'm still here. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, comment, check out the links below, sign up for something. Help me sort out the fact that no one can pay me any money through PayPal, because apparently I'm in the wrong country, but I'm not. Something's happened, so I don't know how to sort that out. PayPal weren't very helpful. I may have to get another account and mess all that up. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.